Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well today. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. So let's get right into the video. There's still a lot of talk about what happened in Warwick Hill. Again, the authorities said that they found human remains there, right? So for now, we'll just refer to that as the spot. Again, I'm going to just repeat what I did mention in my other video, that if the private sector could just donate a few things, just some shrubs, some flowers, and a stone, where they could mark the spot where they found the human remains to show respect to Toshyna Patterson and Sarayah Paulwell, right? I don't think people should be going there and just treating the spot just like it was treated before, like burning of garbage and just handling it the same way. It should be transformed into a beautiful space, right? Maybe a small bench, flowers, shrubs, maybe a tree and a plaque, something to mark the spot, right? To say, hey, we haven't forgotten you, and we're going to make sure that others do not forget you, right? It could be members of the community. If you have flowers, you could plant it there as well, just to show some type of respect to them. And again, Toshyna's family would have to come out and just confirm if they'd like the spot to be marked. I just don't believe that the spot should be treated the same way. We should probably have some type of marker there for them, right? So if the private sector could work with the family and get something out there, it's just the ash and it just looks like a dark space. And we need to change that, change the narrative on that space. Private sector could contact the family and make it happen. It doesn't take much. Shrubs, maybe a small bench or a plaque, planting of trees and shrubs and some flowers as well. Just a few things to transform the spot into something beautiful. So I'm going to move on now. And we all are probably still reeling from the things that unfolded. We're going to get over this, but it's going to take a while. Do you know that this is not the first time a child was caught up in a love triangle? You don't understand fully what was happening, but you heard the adults talking, right? And not until, maybe when you got to, an older state, like teenager, and you're going to high school, then, when they're repeating the story, then you're grasping more of it. Again, it was a love triangle, but this happened in Kingston 12, and I think it was late 70s, right? But a man and a woman was in a relationship. The woman was maybe in her 20s, probably mid-20s to late 20s, and the guy was a little bit younger than her, maybe a few years younger, and they were in a relationship. The guy stepped out of the relationship, right? It is well known that this lady was having problems having a baby. See other people having children. If you're unable to have a child, chances are you're going to get a little bit jealous, right? So on top of that person trying to have a child, another thing was thrown into the mix. The guy stepped out of the relationship, and he stepped out with a very young girl. I think the girl was about 15, 16 years old. That's how young the girl was, right? She was still attending school at the time this happened. And that's another thing, again, in communities at the lower end, of the economic scale, you find the men don't allow the kids to become women and to make their own decisions, right? You find people are basically pushed into relationships, and then next thing you know, they're having babies, and they themselves are babies. Let's look at this on both sides. So you have this young girl, about 15, 16 years old, that became pregnant. And as I mentioned, most of the time, no young girl is running out to get pregnant. Most of the time, this is forced on them. She's pregnant. She has to go now, prepare for a child. That's a big change in her life, right? And prepare mentally as well as physically. She gives birth. She has been through all that pain and hard labor and everything else. And she made it through, comes home with her baby. And within days, her baby is gone, right? Then you have, on the other hand, the other lady who thinks that, people get desperate. Their back is against the wall. She's trying to have a baby, or she doesn't have a baby, and she's seeing this child as what is going to end the relationship, or all the affection and love and attention will be on this baby. This girl and her baby is going to steal everything from me. Where will I be? I'll be kicked aside, right? A lot of people choose to walk away, or they just stay in that relationship. But there's a small percentage that will resort to violence, right? And some will resort to even extreme violence. You know that women can be very violent, especially in situations like this, right? And sometimes they don't want to get their hands dirty, but they will ask someone to act on their behalf, or pay someone to act on their behalf. And take off those shades, right? Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself if this is what you came on the earth to do, if this is the right thing to do. I think the government should have a public service announcement in letting people know that if you instigate or if you pay to have certain things done, you yourself can be charged with that particular crime. Women are responsible for a lot of violent crimes. So word got out that the girl delivered the baby, and it is alleged that this other lady went to her home with a KNIFE. She did the unthinkable to the baby. She was arrested, charged, tried, sentenced. I don't know how many years, but I'm thinking somewhere between 7 and 10. I don't think this girl got over this. How can you get over losing your child so tragically? So the best thing is to stay away from these situations, because they're not really relationships. They're situationships. Once you bring someone else into the relationship, that means you do not value the person. You do not wish the person the best. Your intentions are not good, right, towards this person. These situations usually do not end well, especially if you have one or more persons in the relationship who can become very violent. Be careful of situations that you're going into as young people. Be very wary. Ask a lot of questions. Don't let anyone pressure you into going into any triangle and rectangles and hexagons. It's just a lot of mayhem that can occur. Things that can happen when you get tied up into those situations, right? So just make sure you're asking all the pertinent questions. And if you're uncomfortable or unsure of something, just extricate yourself, right? Sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Just relocate. If you feel like you're not going to be safe, it's best to relocate. You don't want to get caught up in things like this. People who drag you into things like this, they are selfish. Thinking of you as a future partner either. Women do go through fertility issues, so you have the option of still being a parent by surrogacy, fostering, or adoption. Thank you for joining me again for this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Take care of yourself and others. Bye for now. See you on the next video.